Hello everyone and welcome to IVSA Bidar's official YouTube channel Pashuvani. Pashuvani is a platform that provides you with veterinary education. Our video series consists of practical relevant lecture videos, field approach clinical aspects, guide and tip for future careers, smart content related to both animal and veterinary science. We believe sharing is caring, so please like, comment and subscribe for further updates. And now, let's welcome our speaker of today's episode of Saturday's Sharing. Hello everyone, I'm Spruha, currently studying third year at Veterinary College Bidar. And today I would like to talk a little on the topic of animal welfare, which I believe is very important for everyone, irrespective if you are pursuing a veterinary degree or not. So the first and foremost thing that we have to understand is what is animal welfare. In its simplest form, animal welfare refers to the relationships that people have with animals and the duty that these people have to assure that the animals under their care are treated humanely and responsibly. I think this definition is a very clear explanation of what animal welfare is. So the next thing that we need to know is why is it important. So now that we know what animal welfare is, we should understand why animal welfare is important. And as you all know that there are various animals all around the world, and these animals are used for several things. For example, for like food, in laboratories, in medicine, fashion, scientific advancement, and several are used as exotic pets. And these are at times exploited and are suffered when they are undergoing various activities. So to ensure this, it should be made sure that the 5 freedoms are not compromised. And if you're wondering what the 5 freedoms are, I'll be talking about them right now. So these 5 freedoms are freedom from hunger and thirst. This is by ready access to fresh water and diet to maintain health and vigor. The second is freedom from discomfort, which is done by providing appropriate environment including shelter and a comfortable resting area. The third is freedom from pain, injury or disease. This can be done by prevention or rapid diagnosis and treatment. The fourth is the freedom to express normal behavior. This is by providing sufficient space, proper facilities and company of the animal's own kind. And the last freedom is the freedom from fear and distress. This can be done by ensuring conditions and treatment which avoid mental suffering. So now that you have an idea of what the 5 freedoms are, let's talk about when did it start in India, the whole aspect of animal welfare. When did it initially start in India? So animal experimentation began in India in the 1860s when British began introducing new drugs to the colony. And moved by the suffering of Indian strays and draught animals, Colesworthy Grant, who was an English writer, artist and a pioneer activist against cruelty towards animals in India, founded the first Indian Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, which is SPCA, in 1861 in Calcutta. After this, India's first national animal welfare law, the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals 1960, criminalizes cruelty to animals, though exceptions are made for the treatment of animals used for food and scientific experiments. This 1960 law also created the Animal Welfare Board of India to ensure the anti-cruelty provisions and which were enforced and promote the cause of animal welfare. So this was all when the start of animal welfare was, and as you can see that Animal Welfare Board was formed on the basis of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. And now I'll be talking more about what the Animal Welfare Board is and when and how was it established and what are the functions of this board. So the Animal Welfare Board of India is a statutory advisory body. So a statutory advisory body is a non-constitutional body which is set up by the parliament and are authorized to pass laws and take decisions on behalf of the country. So this Animal Welfare Board of India is a advisory body on animal welfare laws and promotes animal welfare in the country. This board was established in 1962 under Section 4 of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. And it was started under the stewardship of late Srimati Rukmini Devi Arundale. The headquarters of the Animal Welfare Board of India has been shifted from Chennai to Haryana's Balabghar. The mandate of Animal Welfare Board. A mandate is nothing but the authority to carry out a policy. So the mandate of Animal Welfare Board is to prevent the infliction of unnecessary pain or suffering on animals in terms of the provisions of the Prevention of Cruelty Act, which is PCA Act in 1960. Now, if we talk a little about the functions of the Animal Welfare Board, there are several functions that this board participates in. If I talk about a few of them, it is to keep the law in force in India, which is the most important one. And it even advises the government on any amendments if they're required to be taken for any law. It also advises the central government on making rules under the Act. It advises the government or any local authority on improvements in the design of vehicles so that the burden on the draught animals is reduced and they don't undergo any unnecessary pain when they are when they are helping with the carrying of the load. It also advises the government or any local authority in the designing of the slaughterhouse so that the animals are not undergoing any unnecessary pain or suffering, whether it's physical or mental, and that even during the pre-slaughter stages, the pain is reduced as far as possible, and the animals are killed whenever necessary in a humane manner. It encourages by the grant of financial assistance, or otherwise it encourages the formation of establishment of pinjara poles, rescue homes, animal shelters, etc., like sanctuaries and so on, where the birds and animals can find a shelter when they are old and people think they're useless, so they turn to be vulnerable at that point. So these rescue homes, they can be a safe space for them. They also provide financial assistance to animal welfare organizations functioning in any local area to encourage the formation of animal welfare duties. And they also encourage the formation of new animal welfare organizations. They also help in the promotion of animal welfare by means of lectures, books, posters, cinematography, exhibitions, and etc. Also advises the government on any matter connected with animal welfare or the prevention of infliction of unnecessary pain or suffering on animals. So these are some of the functions of the Animal Welfare Board, and as you can see, they play a major role on how the animal welfare is done in India. They have a major role in it, they play a huge part in it. And now that we all have a basic idea of what it is and how is it in India, what is the board that is performing animal welfare in India, let's talk a little about the rules and acts that are under the Animal Welfare Board, which further make sure that the animals don't undergo any unnecessary trauma or pain or anything of such sort. So the first is the PCA Act, which is the Prevention of Cruelty Act 1960. So this is the major act and it has many rules under this. This act protects the animals from several inappropriate actions, like if a person beats, kicks, or overrides or overdrives or otherwise treats any animal as so, subjecting to unnecessary pain or suffering, being the owner permits any animal to be treated. if the animals are confined in cages which do not measure the proper size for the animal to be in comfortably, or if they are chained for an unreasonable time, which is one thing that I've seen a lot. Like, these dogs are literally chained for hours together, which is very, very much not a good thing to do, obviously. And if an unfit animal which is underage or which is ill or not healthy, if it's still being employed and it's being done work, that is also illegal. And if you being an owner, if he or she neglects to exercise, does not provide enough food for the animal, does not provide enough water, and abandons them to starve, this is also punishable offense. There are many cases when people adopt or buy dogs, and once they get old or once they seemingly have a illness, they are literally abandoned on the streets, which is very sad, but something that happens a lot. So these animals are protected against such cruel actions. Coming to draught and pack animal rules, 1965. This rule prevents and protects animals from cruelty, unnecessary pain, overwork, torture, when they are used to draw carriages. Like, as you can see in the picture right here, the amount of weight the two cows are carrying is exceptional. That's something that is way beyond what they're supposed to be carrying. So this rules make sure that the appropriate load is given to the animal to be carried. As you can see here in the box, that is the maximum load, and depending on the size of the animal and the type of the animal, there is a specific kilograms the animal should be carrying. So this rule makes sure that these animals are not tortured or made to overwork. Not only cows and buffaloes, it even protects camels, horses and mules and other animals, which are usually used for the draught purpose. It also specifies the amount of time they have to be worked for, or the type of road they have to be on, like the slope of the road, the inclinity, all such specifications are also made under this rule. So coming to the transport of animal rules, 1978. This rule makes sure that the containers must be properly fitted, and the animal traveling is in the container should be provided shelter from heat, rain, and it should be given proper rest, feed and fodder. Water management, first aid should also be given while transported on foot. I guess it already gives you a gist of what this rule is. Basically, to make sure that the animals are not suffering or are not uncomfortable while they're being travel. I mean, it's very, very clear in this picture right here, where these cows are cramped up in this small lorry where they don't even have sufficient space to move their head. So, and the other thing where the animals are being taken on foot. So this rule also talks about the amount of time they should be they should be allowed to walk on foot, the amount of rest period they need, what is the space of each container, the space between two animals, the space between the space needed for them to move freely so that they're not congested into a same small space where they can barely move their head. So this rule makes sure that all such measures are taken, that they travel comfortably, they are given proper rest, they are given proper food, and they are not overworked while they're being taken on foot. The next is the Animal Birth Control, the Dogs Rules 2001. And personally, I feel this one is something that everybody should know and must know, because this one, there are a lot of illegal stuff that happen when dogs are being taken for the animal birth control program. And basically this rule makes sure that that doesn't happen. Like, a sterilized dog cannot be relocated from its area. When they are taken for the program of sterilization, they have to be released back into the same area where they are taken from. And this doesn't happen in many of the cases. These dogs are relocated and left in some other territory, which causes a lot of problems for the dogs and the humans there. So that shouldn't be happening. And the dogs can only be sterilized when they achieve at least an age of 4 months, not before that. They shouldn't be sterilized before 4 months, at least 4 months. And they should be captured by using humane methods such as the lassoing or the soft loop animal catcher. You can see a picture right here of the soft loop animal catcher. They should be caught in a proper manner. And the female dogs that are found to be pregnant should not undergo any sort of abortion or sterilization, and they should be released till they can have a litter. And then the sterilized dogs shall be vaccinated before release, and the ears of the dog should either be clipped or for being identified as sterilized or immunized dogs. And in this picture, you can see very clearly that the ear of this dog is a little chipped, and this is the identification that the dog is sterilized. So when somebody is complaining you, telling that, not complaining to you, but like complaining in general, that this dog, so-and-so dog, is causing a nuisance, it's barking, call the local people to get the dog taken away or something, that can't be done. No, that's a big no-no. Once they are sterilized, and if you can see the chip right here, the clipped ear, they can't be taken back. They are protected against that. I'll be talking about that also very soon. And the Slaughterhouse Rules 2001, it provides that the animals during the transportation of slaughter and pre-slaughter and slaughtering are undergoing the least amount of pain possible, and the guidelines should be followed to prevent unnecessary cruel acts in dispatching animals and during their slaughter. It also makes sure that the slaughtering of animals is done in licensed slaughterhouses. Coming to the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. As you can see, these are just some of the main rules that I've mentioned. That hunting or altering the boundaries of a sanctuary or national park results in the penalty of minimum imprisonment for 3 years. And this can also extend to 7 years. And there's a minimum fine of 10,000 rupees. And if there's any offense related to trade or like commerce and trophies derived from certain animals, this can attract a term of punishment of 3 years, imprisonment of 3 years, or a fine up to 25,000. And keeping illegal birds or exotic animals as pets can also lead to 3 to 7 years of imprisonment or a fine ranging from 5,000 to 25,000 rupees. Now this point is the most problematic thing, because not many people know that the Indian birds cannot be raised as pets and confined in cages. You can't get a parrot and keep with you. You can't get an eagle, you can't get a kite or a quail or any other minors or any indigenous animal of India to keep as a indigenous wild animal. I mean to say, to keep as a pet in your house, because that is illegal. And as you can see, there is a chance to be imprisoned for 3 to 7 years, and even a fine ranges from 5,000 to 25,000. So make sure that you don't do that, and don't and prevent others from doing it, because many people don't have an idea about it. And the next slide is just some of the common illegal wild animals as pets in India. So here is the ring roast parakeet, the Alexander parakeet, Indian star tortoise, which I think is the most common pet that I've seen people keep as. And the sad thing is, once they realize that it's not something you can keep as a pet, or it's illegal to be kept as a pet, they just leave it in a nearby pond or some kind of park or something, which is very, very, very disappointing and sad. So don't do that. And a black kite, owl, and snakes. So these are just some of the common illegal wild animals. There are many, 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 many more that I've been keeping as a pet, but just keep in mind that any wild animal of India cannot be put as a pet. So this was all about the laws, the rules, the Animal Welfare Board, or the functions, and all of that. Now coming to a much more basic thing, as in something that you all should know and should be knowing, which is the laws that protect stray animals in India that you all should be aware of. I'll just tell it point by point, and please try to remember them, so that you'll know when it's happening, and that is not actually something that can happen, so you can go and complain about it, and there will be action taken against them. So these are just some laws that you should know. Beating and driving away stray dogs is not allowed, which I think many people have seen, that these poor stray dogs are just thrown sticks at, they're kicked, they are cruelly abused, which is so inhuman and shouldn't be allowed. And it is illegal to poison stray animals. It is a criminal offence to poison stray dogs under Section 11 of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act of 1960. But there are thousands of stray dogs that are poisoned, and which is not at all uncommon in India. It is also illegal to cause harm to stray animals. It is against the law to relocate stray animals from their territory. And this one happens very, very, very frequently. People complain, telling just remove the dog, and those dogs are just removed from the area, and they're just thrown into some other territory where they have absolutely no idea what is going on. And it is illegal to deliberately starve stray dogs or take away their shelter. And capturing them against their will is also against the law. There should be proper documentation if you want to buy or sell cattle. And it is illegal to display stray monkeys as an entertainment. And government also issues IDs to people who feed stray animals. You can apply for this in the Animal Welfare Board website. You can find it there, where there's a form that you have to fill, and then you'll be issued an ID. And this just gives you an extra bar, because you can show the ID, and probably some people will just shut up when they see the ID. They can't say anything when you show them the ID. Come on. So yeah, people who are a regular feeder or takes care of the stray animals, try to get one of these IDs. They can be very useful. So now that we've talked about the laws that protect these stray animals, now let's just talk about the laws that protect us, kind of like that. So if you are a colony animal caretaker or a stray dog feeder, here are a few things to keep in mind. There is no law that prohibits the feeding of stray dogs. I'm going to repeat that again. Keep that in mind. There is no law that prohibits the feeding of stray dogs. Feeding of dogs within as well as outside any society is legally permissible, and what is illegal is threatening dog feeders from performing their fundamental duty under Article 51A of the Constitution of India. I'm sure every person who goes around taking care of these stray dogs or feeding them have been verbally abused, or they have been asked very bland questions. I think the first question that comes into my mind is that people just say, if you like them so much, why don't you just take them to your house? Which is absolutely, I don't know what to even say. That's just plain stupidity. But if next somebody comes and tells you that why you're feeding the stray dogs here, who gave you the permission to do that, just tell them that I am legally allowed to do that. You can't tell me to not do something that is legal. You have the right to do that, and you are protected to do that. So do it more. Feed more stray dogs. Feed more stray animals. And animal cruelty is an offense. That is one thing that I've been stressing on during this entire discussion. And any attempt to interfere or harass people who look after and feed community dogs is criminal intimidation. So don't be scared to do it. When you're doing something right by helping out these stray animals, you don't be scared of people coming in, abusing you or harassing you, which is, I know, extremely scary. But just remember that you are protected and you can complain against them and there will be action taken. And if you are a colony animal caretaker, you are advised to participate in sterilization and yearly vaccination, and do keep a record of it. So this is something that is very important. The fact that you feed the animal every day, I'm sure it is more used to you and it is comfortable with you. It is okay with you probably holding it. So if that is the case, then why not get it sterilized and vaccinated, which is the best thing to do considering the human-animal conflict, which I'll be talking about very soon. So this step, which is very necessary, and do try to participate more in that. And also, when you are feeding these stray dogs, make sure that you don't feed them close to your residency or where children play or in any crowded areas. Take them to somewhere nearby which is like a little isolated and not many people are around. Take them there every day to be fed so that they understand that is where they're going to be fed, and I'm sure they'll get used to it and they'll understand that is where you'll be giving them food, so they will automatically come there. And also, the most important thing is clean up after you're done feeding. If you're feeding in a paper or anything, plastic cover or something, just make sure you remove them and don't cause any litter in the area that you're feeding them at. Well, I could only explain in a very short manner about the laws and everything, but if you guys are interested in knowing about them in a much wider aspect, then please do visit the official Animal Welfare Board website. And this is the end for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope you guys learned a little. And please do tell others about this so that they'll have a knowledge about the basic rules that they have to know if they are a animal caretaker of the colony. Thank you.